Good afternoon. I hope all of us we are well wherever we are. So if at all you can hear Mwalimu, just give the thumbs up. If at all you're getting Mwalimu, just give a thumbs up. Just give a thumbs up. If at all you are getting Mwalimu, just give a thumbs up. If at all you're getting Mwalimu, just give a thumbs up so that we can continue. At all you're getting Mwalimu, just gives a thumbs. Great. Now I think should be okay. Now I think should be okay. Great. So Mwalimu is saying that, of course, I'll be taking you through business data analytics as well as financial modeling and data analytics. And for those who don't know Mwalimu here, Mwalimu is a CPA Ringo Frederick. I know majority of you, of course, you know me in line of guiding you majorly when it comes to matters of CPA. Also on the line, of course, we have a firm running accounting, of course, finance, and aspect of taxation. I also normally train corporates when it comes to matters of power business intelligence, as well as when it comes to, of course, data analytics. So be sure that you guys, you are in very good hands. So what is the objective of our segment today? The objective of our segment today, it is upon us to learn what we will be expected to cover in business data analytics. At the same time, we'll also be expected to learn, of course, the objectives in terms of best strategy that you're supposed to apply when it comes to business data analytics. There's also that perception that majority of the students they normally tend to have when it comes to business data analytics, which I also want to clarify in the sense that the perception that majority normally tend to have, I'll want to clarify that perception so that whenever we will be looking at BDA, we should come with a very clear mind, because there's always that perception that business data analytics students normally tend to have, or those who normally join in BDA. So mentioning that, I just want us to go straight away to what will be expected to cover. Remember, for those who are preparing for December sitting, all we are looking at, we are considering only like, we are looking at exactly like 2 months to say 2.5 months for you to prepare or for you to sit for exams. Majority are still waiting for their results to be released for them to make a decision or for them to know whether they are going to proceed in doing business data analytics or not. So this video basically will give us insights on the best way and how we should be able to handle business data analytics. So at this point, you should understand that BDA, I'm sharing the course outline. BDA is more of a practical, a very practical paper, which will be expected to handle after you're done with your written papers. After you're done with your written papers, that is the point whereby you'll be required to sit or do this paper of business data analytics. And it is usually a computer-based examination. So CBE, meaning that we will be required, of course, to go with our laptops in our exam rooms. And of course, the exams we will be using, of course, our PC compared to the traditional way that we normally tend to do exams, of course, by writing our solutions. BDA has these topics that will be expected to cover. This important area that we normally tend to look at it as introduction to Excel. What will you be expected to cover or understand when it comes to aspect of Excel introduction? It is assumed that by the time you reach at this point, you must have gone through specific stages, yeah? So the assumption is at least you have a good idea and knowledge when it comes to Excel. The unfortunate part, sad to say, but I just have to say it. The unfortunate part, you'll find that majority of the CPA students, they are very perfect when it comes to theory. But the aspects of practice, including using some of the Excel tools, majority of them will find that they still have that deficiency. So in looking at business data analytics, as much as it is assumed that at least you have the stages, what Mwalimu normally tends to do for our students, we normally tend to literally start from scratch, assuming that you've never even seen Excel workbook. So ideally, I'll be taking us through the scratch part of it, understanding the whole idea of what Excel entails. We jump deep into going through the smallest details, which are basic in terms of Excel. We'll also be expected, of course, to be doing some analysis, where this analysis, of course, will include aspects to do with understanding data tables, going about pivot tables, going about the concept of VLOOKUP functions. We'll be expected, of course, to know and also understand how we can use the XLOOKUP and all these other functions, which ideally they're very important when it comes to matters to do with our preparation in business data analytics. The other element, of course, is now using the advanced formulas and the functions to enhance the functionality of financial models. This is where the magic normally happens. For new students, you'll find that once you are able to understand the basic part of introduction to Excel, moving forward, things will always be kind of not complicated for us. But if at all you miss this element, now when you'll be practicing it in terms of looking at the application of business data analytics, now you might have a challenge. So I'll always insist the first bit of introduction to Excel is literally very important. I wouldn't advise anyone to skip this stage so that going forward or looking at other topics ahead, things will be much easier on our end. We have introduction to data analytics. So at this point is very important and very key. And for your examination purposes, you'll never miss topic number 2. Of course, I'll be talking about this as we progress. So this is all about understanding cross-industry standard process for data mining. Of course, talk about looking at the data concept stages in data lifecycle. Majority of these concepts, including big data and data analytics, this concept is literally, majority is literally theory. Majority of this area you'll find that dealing with aspect of theory. That is topic number 2. Yes, I know you are like, oh, Molimu, we know that BDA, yes, is practical, but remember there are some specific areas that will be dealing with theory. So like majorly, like 90% of introduction to data analytics, when it comes to this, you'll find that we will be looking at the theory component. But this theory are literally very important. Remember, BDA is one paper that you cannot do if at all you don't have a clear knowledge. You just basically, you must, for you to handle BDA clearly, you must be having a clear knowledge and line of what you're doing. So what will be expected to cover in topic number 2 is majorly theory. And what we've done, or what we normally tend to do, we normally tend to provide you guys with the theory paper from the word go. So as we are starting our semester, you will be having your theory right with you to enable you to be going through this paper in advance because it is very critical. I'll share this theory part. I'll be talking about this area of theory part. See, so the other interesting part in business data analytics is where we're dealing with data visualization in Excel. Now, this is the most important element again to understand. Whatever that we are going to cover in introduction to Excel, it will be very critical in this other stage. See, in the aspect of data visualization in Excel, this is where would be expected, of course, to prepare the elements to do with various dashboard, enabling us, of course, to explain what dashboard entails or coming up with a very nice dashboard. This is what would be expected, of course, to do when it comes to that part of visualization. And business data analytics is more of bringing a story, giving a story behind the data. It is not just presenting, or it is not just, of course, indicating the reports that we have, but it is more of giving the story behind your data. You see, like you're giving life. I know we are used to static data, but what visualization will tend to do, we read about a very good visualization, it will be kind of, we are giving life to our data. That is what will be expected, of course, to do at this point. Looking at the tools, of course, majority of these tools are literally very practical. See, very, very practical. Like looking at SQL, talk about Oracle, cloud computing, reporting visualization, we're having Excel, Power BI. I know those who had attended our training, the one that has just ended, we looked at majorly Power BI in practice. We have Tableau, we have MicroStrategy, we have, of course, other tools which are important for visualization. So in this case, for those who are putting their notes down, mark these areas kindly. For those who are putting their notes down, mark these important areas for BDA. We're talking about introduction to Excel. It will give us, of course, that foundation. Then we come to data visualization. It will enable us to visualize our presentation. So looking at topic number 3, now we will be introduced to the core areas where BDA is majorly applied. And this is what will form, of course, as I'll be guiding you on the allocation or how BDA is divided. So you find that we have financial accounting and reporting. How do we apply the knowledge of data analytics in financial accounting and reporting? How do we apply the knowledge of BDA in financial management? You realize that in financial accounting and reporting, we have aspect of what you did at your basic level. You must have done preparation of SFP. You must have done preparation of income statement. You must have done the aspect of cash flows. So what we'll be looking at this point are exactly the same concept. Only that right now, for the purpose of exams, we are not doing them manually, like using handwritten bit. we apply the concept in Excel. That is what we'll be looking at. See? The same case happens with financial management. Kwa wale walikuwa wamesema wameepuka financial management probably because of the perception that FM was somehow complicated, bado iko, it is still at this point. The most beautiful part with that when looking at it at this point is that it has been simplified. Simplified in a sense that we will be using Excel functions, and you're going to see how interesting that will be. Like all the process that you guys have been using all along, if at all you're to determine the NPV, you're going to see how easy it will be when we apply the concept of Excel and these financial functions. Actually, today, for those who will be willing, today I'll be having a class for advanced Excel later in the evening. You can join and see, because today we'll be dealing with financial functions. So you can join and see how we can use these financial functions. The same case will apply. That same knowledge, we're going to apply it here when dealing with what? Business data analytics, dealing with what? The aspect of financial functions. So it is a very interesting area if at all you open your mind wide. See? And the most important and interesting part is, after doing all these functions, we will be expected to do visualization part of it, giving the story behind our data. Giving the story behind our data. That is what will be expected, of course, to consider at this point. Now, looking at application of data analytics in specialized areas, I think I'll also need to talk about the specialization part, probably for those who are planning to do BDA later in future. At this point, management accounting is part of the core area. So we'll also be expected to learn how can we apply data analytics when it comes to management accounting. Because it is at this point that we'll be expected to understand how do we go about regression using BDA? How do we go about conducting break-even analysis using BDA? How do we go about estimating our price, revenue, and profit margins using BDA? This is what will be expected, of course, to cover and consider. Look at it on a very deeper perspective. So that is what will be expected, of course, to look at when we'll be dealing with what? Management accounting. We have auditing. I know one will ask, Mwalimu, now where can we use BDA in auditing? Yeah? Where can we use BDA in auditing? Probably this is one question that you might be asking yourself that, to be honest, Mwalimu, where will I use BDA in auditing? Remember, auditing is literally wide, and auditing, it is not only about just presenting or giving the reports. Audit is very wide, where in this case, there are some areas that we'll learn how to maybe carry out sampling, maybe preparing the adjustments now, literally practically, looking at fraud detection, and so many other elements. Looking at taxation and public financial management, in this case, the knowledge of BDA would be very critical. Why? You'll be given a data relating to, say, a certain ministry. You are expected to analyze this data inside out, and you give insights in relation to whatever report that you might have presented. So you'll find that anytime we are looking at business data analytics, it will be very key that we need to understand each and every step therein. How will you prepare or use VLOOKUP in conducting probably a certain search in the data of the Ministry of Finance that you might have been given. In this case, their disbursement amount, probably versus aspect of budget and the actual results. How will you do your analysis? So this is where, again, the knowledge of data analytics will be very important. And majorly, actually, it is the concept of lookup functions, which would be very ideal when dealing with this area. We have emerging issues, of course, in data analytics, where emerging issues in this case, including data protection, is literally wide, and it will form part of the theory part. So in summary, looking at the whole concept of business data analytics, what will you be expected to learn and understand? In summary, looking at BDA, we will then be expected to understand that the theory part are only two areas. We have the topic number 2, part of it, and we have, of course, topic number 5, all of it. And this now will bring us to the component of what is the composition of business data analytics when it comes to how the exams is always tested before I go to the theory part. BDA has 3 sections. BDA has 3 sections. Section 1 will entail aspect of theory. These are purely theory, whereby for the purpose of your exams, these are literally multiple choice. For the purpose of exams, these are literally multiple choice questions. Section 2, when we are dealing with now a bit of computation. So section 2, we will be having core areas. Core areas are financial management. Talk about aspect to do with financial reporting. We're having, of course, financial reporting. Financial reporting. We have another area here, of course, to deal with what? Management accounting. So these are the core areas that will be expected to understand when it comes to section 2. We have section 3. We have section 3. Section 3 of our BDA will entail you choose one question between, of course, public finance taxation, public finance and taxation, and what? Auditing. So you choose one paper, or rather you choose one question. So this is the structure of business data analytics. We have 3 segments. That is, number 1, section 1, which entails the theory part. Section 2 will entail financial management, financial reporting, and management accounting. Section 3, public finance and taxation and auditing. So in this case, this will entail 20%. This will entail 60%. And the last bit will entail 20%. So you have to have a very good balance, even when you are preparing for this. Theory part, which is multiple choice, 20, financial management reporting, or section 260, and section 3, in this case, will be about what? 20%. And all this will be possible if at all I take you back more so section 2 and 3. For you to make your work much easier, there's no shortcut. You must be very good with the functions that you'll be looking at when you'll be looking at what? Introduction to Excel. These are very key elements, which is important for you to be able to get and to understand in details. So let Mwalimu talk about section 1 before we analyze the other areas, which are very key. Looking at section 1, we've said, based on the analysis that we've looked at or what Mwalimu has given us, section 1, we've said it will entail the aspect to do with emerging issues and the aspect to do with aspect of introduction to Excel. So in between, we'll find that we'll always be asked for some certain shortcuts that will always be found in the computation part. So what is the strategy that you normally tend to use? Given that the period is always very short, our strategy that we've been using and that we are going to continue using because it has always worked, this is what we are going to give you. We have very good classrooms. Probably, I know you might have seen them somewhere online because I remember we shared this sometimes back literally for free. But unfortunately, some people took advantage and they started selling our notes, right? Which is okay because you're doing it for free anyway. So we have the theory part, and whatever that is outside there, remember it is not full because we just shared very brief notes, very brief notes. But in this context, you'll find that the way we design our theory part will enable you to be able to understand the aspect to do with the general perspective of Excel, the shortcuts. This I'm also going to share this now in form of Excel. I'm going to share the Excel shortcuts in form of Excel just right now so that you can have it. We have the other segment here, which is introduction to data analytics, the concept of you be able to understand, of course, the whole bit of CRISP, because remember, Mwalimu has said, majorly topic number 2 will entail the aspect of the theory part. And it is very critical. You know, the most slippery part with business data analytics is that there are some things that even if you're good, there's no way that you can apply without the knowledge. You see? So you must go through the paper. And as I've always said, and of course, it has always been the same case. This document, I'm saying it in our first class. When it comes to the theory part, the 20%, this document has 80% of what you're going to be tested. This document has 80% of what you're going to be tested when it comes to the theory part. Why am I not giving it 100%? Because the 20%, it will be how good are you when it comes to the general knowledge of things. How good are you when it comes to some specific items of what? Of IT part of it. So that will be the 20%. But the 80% of the theory that you're going to be tested, even in December, and I'm saying this with a lot of confidence, the 80% of the theory part that you're also going to be tested, even in December, you have them in these notes. You have them in these notes. They're very good notes. They are very good notes, which, if at all, you go through the same. And the most beautiful part is that, remember at this point, you are being introduced to whole new things, more so the theory. You never handle the aspect of analytics when you're doing the written papers. So there's no shortcut. You have to go through each and every details. You'll have to go through each and every details for you to say that at least you have prepared well when it comes to matters to do with theory. So this theory, ideally, you'll find that it has everything that will enable you to do or pass that examination when it comes to when you are talking about the theory component. So this is very, very important that at least we have it as well. The other bit, when we are talking about business data analytics, there is misconception that majority of the students they normally tend to have. Unfortunately, in our Rambangas at the end of the day. So as you are starting BDA, I want you to erase this misconception in your mind that because I am very good in Excel, BDA is just a walk on the park. Because I am very good in Excel, probably BDA is just a walk on the park. Because I normally use Excel at my workplace every day, because I normally use Excel at my workplace every now and then BDA will just be very easy. That is a perception that majority of the students, they normally tend to have, and it is always a very big mistake. If I may ask, yes, you normally use Excel at your workplace. But the question is, how many times in your workplace do you normally solve regression analysis using Excel? Or have you ever even solved regression analysis at your workplace using Excel? Yes, you normally use Excel at your workplace every day. How many times do you normally solve NPV, or how many times do you normally solve IRR at your workplace using Excel? How many times? Yes, you are good in Excel, which is okay. But the question is again, how many times do you normally do analysis in Excel at your workplace? How many times do you normally use goal seek at your workplace? How many times do you normally use sensitivity analysis at your workplace? How many times? Yes, I'm not in dispute that you normally use Excel at your workplace every day. But look at these specific scenarios. At the workplace, probably you're using VLOOKUP or maybe a bit. Rarely people, or rather you find that very few people use VLOOKUP anyway. The aspect of people table a bit. But how many times do you normally interact with Excel when it comes to matters of what? Solving financial problems? Rarely, or even you don't use these functions at all. So yes, you're good with BDA, or rather you're good in Excel. So that misconception that a lot of students normally tend to make, even when they are starting business data analytics course, is always a very wrong perception. So as we are starting the class or the sessions for business data analytics, I want us to start with a mind or mindset that I know nothing in Excel. Whatever that you know, let it be just be an asset or an advantage to you. But you're looking at it at a point whereby I know nothing in Excel. And that is why I am attending this class of business data analytics. I want us to approach it in that perspective that you literally know nothing in Excel. Whatever that you know, let that be an asset. It will help you a lot. It will help you a lot. So my approach has always been, I'm going to assume all of us who never attended Excel class. That would be my approach. I'm going to assume that all of us, we've never attended, of course, business data analytics class. The reason why I'm going to have this, let me share this with us. The reason why I'm going to give each and everyone this document, which will be very important, of course, for us, all of us literally, which will be very, very important for all of us literally. So let me share this bit. Let me share this document, whereby we're literally starting from scratch. See, we literally be starting from scratch. So these are what this is what you have. It is a literally Excel shortcuts, whereby I am assuming that you've never attended class. I'm also going to share this actually on the chat. So for those who have joined, you'll have a chance to get this and download the same, which it will help a lot. 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 So this is this is what we have. You see, I'm assuming you never attended even that Excel class. So each and everyone will be having this document. I'm also going to share it in our chat right now. The aspect to do with introduction or the Excel shortcuts, where in this case, we have each and every small detail. You see, this document will help us a lot. For some, probably it is something that you normally tend to do, but at this point, Mwalimu is assuming we've never attended even Excel work, even Excel class. The reason why I always tend to share this with us, we assume that we never attended or we have zero knowledge when it comes to matters to do with what? Matters to do with Excel or matters to do with Excel. So this document I'm going to share with us. The approach, as I've said, I'm going to assume that all of us, we never attended Excel session. We've never stepped in an Excel class. So that will literally be our approach. The other thing is, the fact is, we are looking at a very short semester. That is the reality of things. We're looking at a very short semester. That is the reality of things. How many months? Your exams, of course, will be commencing from 1st December. We are already in September, almost 6th. Actually, we are on 6th. So we're literally talking about from today, like 2 months and 3 weeks. We're about 2 months and 3 weeks for you who is doing business data analytics to clear, revise, and go do exams. The fact of the matter is that that is what we are looking at. 2 months, 3 weeks. So the question is, Mwalimu, how will you clear this within this shortest period time available? It is a very valid question. It is a very, very valid question. How are we going to clear this with a very limited time available? A very valid question, which any other student, of course, will ask. Mwalimu, how will we clear this with a very limited time available? This would be our strategy. This would be our strategy. It has always worked within the shortest period that we normally tend to have. And I also know this time again, it will also work. Yeah. The reason why you might ask probably all along, why is it that Omo, they have never changed their package? Because it has always worked. See, so our strategy has always been this. Our strategy has always been this, which I want to share with us, right now. Our strategy, you're joining the class, as much as you'll be attending the live virtual, you'll also have access to the aspect of our platform. You'll have access to our LMS. So in our LMS, what will it do? In this case, of course, I can search CPA. That is, of course, for those who don't have, this is app.mdarasa.com. I go to CPA. Of course, I search business data analytics. This is BDA. So this is what we normally tend to do. Of course, other than you getting the class that you missed, this is what we have for you. Say, for example, maybe we are looking at a specific concept. Maybe Mwalimu has guided us. Tomorrow, we are going to handle, say like, maybe tomorrow we are going to handle, say like introduction to Excel. Or we are going to handle specific item, pivot tables. So how will we go about it? In this case, we give you access to the classes in advance so that when you come at this point, you're going to get the classes, all the classes. You can literally come and download to watch offline while doing your training. You not only get the classes, but in addition, you'll also come under the notes area here. If you come to the notes, we have all the workbook that we'll also be using in class. We have all the workbooks that we'll also be using in class. You come, download the workbook in your PC, use the video that you have downloaded to access these classes. So that if at all I am saying that tomorrow we are going to do pivot table, already you have access to the pivot table video. You come and go through the pivot table class. Maybe we want to go or we want to attend the aspect of data table. Already you have access to the same class. So by the time we are coming in class, we are not starting from the point of zero, but rather you have the concept itself. Come to past papers. you get all the past papers in the learning management system, where you get all the past papers which you can download so that whenever you're doing our training, you also have it. Then our students for BDA, because it's a practical paper, this is what we normally tend to give you as well. There are assessments that we normally tend to put for you. So that whenever we are doing classes, because remember we're looking at a very limited time possible, we must also gauge you when it comes to the aspect to do with the theory part. So you will come on assessment. Test yourself. You've gone through a specific class, or you've studied on your own in terms of the theory part. Come to the assessment part. Try to test yourself. Say, for example, which one of the following is MS Excel allows you to select or highlight all the formulas. In this case, you'll find that we'll just take any. You do your test. I'll just be doing it randomly. You come and do the assessment. Remember, this is in your account on the platform. You come do the assessment. You literally come do your assessment. So that, remember, you're just gauging yourself. So that even before trying, this is a simulation of what we'll be doing even in the exam room. See, you come do your assessment. You come do your assessment. So by the time you're done, you see, already you know, based on whatever that you've done, what can you answer? In this case, you've scored 9/20. Are you in a good position or are you not in a good position? These are the questions that now you can start asking yourself. Are you in the right path or are you not in the right path? And in this case, if you go further, you'll also get the solution. This was the correct answer, but this is what you have provided. So that you literally gauge yourself and make sure that you've literally trained very well before that exams. So to be honest with us, with all these resources, what will limit you not to pass BDA on a first attempt? And all the strategies that Mwalimu will be sharing, what will limit you not to pass business data analytics? If I told you, just to be very honest, what will limit you? Simulation of work or what you normally do in exams, we're also going to give you, and all these resources, including the Excel workbooks I've shared with us, the notes here. I've seen someone asking about the link to the notes. Of course, we don't have a specific link. These are the notes from Darasa, which we'll be sharing with you. And I'm going to attach it, of course, as an attachment in our chat room here. I'm going to attach it here. So at this point, probably, I wish to invite any question. Let me enable us to unmute ourselves. Yeah, I'm inviting any question. Probably before we go to the next segment, our first session will be Introduction to Excel. Any question? I'm opening the room to any question. I can see Clinton, any question that you wish to ask? I can see Hillary. Hila, do you have any question? Hillary, any question? Great. I have Mwendwa, any question? If at all you have a question, make sure you just ask. Don't restrain yourself. Wesley, any question? Wesley, any question? I can see JM. JM, any question? Any question? If at all you're shy of asking the question, maybe you can also just chat and ask your question. Great. So I'm attaching this document in our chat right now. If at all you check your chat, there's that document that, yeah, Hillary, no question, okay. I've attached the Excel shortcuts in the chat, which you can just check it out and have it at any given point in time. So, of course, this is what we will be having. Our classes for business data analytics, our classes, of course, for business data analytics. We'll be having these classes on evening hours. And in this case, we'll be having our classes on Tuesdays from 8:15 to 10, and of course, Thursdays. So Tuesdays and Thursdays is when we'll be having our classes for business data analytics. That is 8 to 10 for those who will be joining the live virtual sessions. For those who will be joining the pre-recorded version of the classes, I've given you our area of LMS, that is our app.mdarasa.com, where you will be accessing the classes in the event that you missed a class, or maybe those who will be joining purely for the pre-recorded version. You can easily study at your own time and when you wish to study. So this point, guys, I know it was on a short notice inviting you to the class, but I hope at least you get. And if at all you're having any question, for those who are viewing us, of course, via YouTube, because ideally the session was purely designed for YouTube, but we just share the links to the group for those who wish to attend. So this is 0708068851. If at all you have any question, if at all you have any question in relation to our classes, how to join the classes, you can reach us out, and definitely I'll be able to guide you, including those who are interested with that, the notes. You can literally inbox us on the WhatsApp number. I'm going to share literally for free. I'm going to share the notes part. That is the notes part, only the notes part. See, the theory part, we know about the theory part. If at all you're interested with these notes, the theory part, you just reach our inbox, then I'm going to share the same. And I believe you're aware that the syllabus was reviewed last year, June 2024. I believe that you're aware the syllabus was reviewed in June 2024. So these notes have also captured whatever that was reviewed and whatever that was added, which was not there before. So reach us out, and of course, I'm going to share the same. So to this point, you guys have a very wonderful time, and I hope to see you guys in our classes. Officially, we are starting next week on a Monday. Officially, we are starting on a Monday, our classes. So that point, you have a very nice time, and see you next time. If at all, no one has a question. Have a nice time.